Andrew was driving down the freeway in Lake Forest, California when he saw a silver Jeep abruptly stopping and about to enter his lane. As Andrew started to go around him, a white Jeep rear-ended the silver Jeep, causing it to crash into the side of Andrew's Tesla and pushing him into a lane of faster-moving traffic. The driver of a white Honda Odyssey said she wasn't expecting another car to suddenly be in her lane, so she didn't have time to brake before rear-ending the Model Y. There ended up being 6 vehicles involved in the accident. After the white Jeep rear-ended the silver Jeep, it continued to plow through and rear-ended a BMW. The silver Jeep was also rear-ended a second time by a white Mercedes. The California Highway Patrol arrived on scene to take a report. Andrew is still waiting on the final verdict from the police report and action from his insurance provider, but the officers at the scene did indicate that the driver of the white Jeep will most likely be found to be at fault. Gina was driving her Model Y in Atlanta, Georgia. She wasn't using autopilot since she was driving on a bumpy local road with a speed limit of only 25 miles per hour. As she crossed through an intersection, a woman in a Ford F-150 ran a red light, T-boning her Tesla. The entire rear axle broke off as she continued rolling forward. She tried to brake frantically, but the brakes didn't respond. Luckily, she wasn't on a very steep slope, so the Model Y didn't pick up much speed, but she still managed to roll into a parked work truck. The lady in the Ford tried to tell Gina that she had a green light and that it was Gina who ran a red light. Police arrived quickly to the scene, and when the officer reviewed the Teslacam footage, he told Gina, "Oh, you're good, definitely her fault." Gina asked if we could give a shout out to her 9-year-old nephew J.S. He's a huge Tesla fan, and he's the one who told her to send this video to Wham Baam Dangercam. Nice job, J.S. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever, we can present a crash recorded by 2 different Teslas, a multi-Tesla angle video, or whatever we should call it. The video was sent in from Curtis, who was already a fan of watching episodes of Teslacam Stories, only to find himself in one when his Model X was totaled. He contacted us with his angle of the crash, but before we watch it, let's take a look at the video of the same accident that was shown back in episode 55 from Roy's Model Y. We're about to live up to our reputation because here comes an accident video from Roy in Sunnyvale, California. He was waiting at an intersection on the Lawrence Expressway in his Model Y. That's when a Jeep ran the red light and T-boned a Model X. The Tesla owner quickly got out of his car and started walking back and forth, talking on his phone. We're glad he walked away from that one. It could have been much worse. Here's Curtis on the phone with 911. Now let's watch this from his side of the story. Sorry, I got a little carried away by all this multi-Tesla angle action, but now we're in Curtis's Tesla. He says that the guy in front of him must have had a premonition since he made an illegal U-turn just before the light turned green. Once the light changed, Curtis pulled off, and that's when the Jeep ran the red light and T-boned him. Curtis called 911 and first responders arrived at the scene. Right after he hung up with 911, Tesla's service called asking if he needed roadside assistance. The guy in the Jeep thought that Curtis ran a red light, so having the Teslacam video was a huge help in getting the insurance claim processed. His Model X was quickly deemed a total loss, and he says he's ordered a new Model X to replace it, since the first one had done such a great job protecting him from injury. Jared was driving his Model 3 in Woodford, Queensland, Australia, when he witnessed a driver in front of him poorly judge the situation and attempt an overtake. But they didn't manage to gain any more speed than the utility truck beside them. This almost resulted in a head-on collision with a car coming the opposite direction. It just so happened that the car coming straight at him was a police cruiser. The cop immediately activated his emergency lighting and set off after the driver. Jared thought that the police officer might like to have a chat with the driver, so he pulled over onto the shoulder and gave the officer room to make a U-turn. When Jared showed this video to his parents, they said, "You have to send it in to Wham Baam. They love watching the videos every Sunday." It's so cool to see that we're picking up viewers in Australia, with 2.4% of our viewers watching from down under. Thanks for spreading the word. It's not just the Australians who have crazy cop videos to share. Some Americans have even crazier ones. They represent 44% of the Wham Baam viewership. This video is from Adrian, who was driving in California when a Jaguar sped by with a police cruiser hot on his trail. When the officer activated his lights, the Jaguar driver tried to evade the cop by making a last-minute exit, only managing to crash into a Range Rover. When Adrian drove by, he got to see the driver of the Jaguar running away on foot. Adrian tells us he thinks the police caused this accident. Leave a comment and tell us what you think. Bo was driving to work when he saw a ton of flashing lights, so he pulled over. What happened next made him feel like he was inside an episode of Cops. A sheriff's deputy attempted to deploy spike strips against a Mercedes unsuccessfully. The Mercedes driver got away and the pursuit continued.
There he goes. What the? It was like staring me down too.
David was driving his Model 3 Performance in Los Angeles, California when he noticed the driver of a Hellcat checking out his Tesla. He made a questionable maneuver around a slower car, and David thought he'd challenge him to a friendly race. At the next light, they were both in pole position, so David signaled to the other driver to roll down his window to ask if he wanted to race when the light turned green. The Hellcat driver foolishly accepted the challenge. When the light turned green, David floored the juice pedal. So did the other driver, but as expected, traction is a problem on the street for a Hellcat. David waited for him to catch up and asked if he wanted to try a rolling start instead, but he declined, stating, "I have the wrong tires." David hasn't seen the guy since, but he hopes he has the right tires now. Speaking of spinning tires, Andre was driving his Model Y when he got challenged to a race by the driver of a Corvette. This race was from a rolling start, but the Corvette still had to fight to maintain traction with some massive torque being applied to the back wheels. In the end, he managed to pull away from Andre, almost losing control in the process. Luckily, he managed to stabilize the car and keep it on the road. Speaking of tires, actually this whole segment feels like an advertisement for tires. Hook us up if you know of a tire manufacturer who's looking to advertise. Jackson was driving home on US Route 101 in California when he picked up the smell of burning rubber. A few miles down the highway, he caught up to a car with a smoking tire. The tire flew completely off before Jackson had a chance to warn the driver. Apparently the driver didn't seem to mind since they just kept on driving. Mike was driving his Model Y in Markham, Ontario, Canada. As he pulled into the parking lot of a local store, he witnessed a Honda slowly getting bumped. The Honda driver got out and put her hands in the air like she just didn't care. Just kidding, she looked really upset. And she had every right to be, since the other driver just drove away like he just didn't care. Mike pulled over and gave the Honda driver a copy of the Teslacam video. We carefully select which videos will be included on this channel to make sure they follow the YouTube guidelines and they're entertaining. We don't accept any clips showing accidents with a confirmed deadly outcome or any graphic videos. We do this so we can keep this show on the road and so that the whole family can enjoy it. However, sometimes our hand-picked videos still get flagged as too dangerous by YouTube's robots. So we created a second channel called Wham Baam Dangercam. This is where these dangerous but still family-friendly clips will be posted without risking the Wham Baam Teslacam show. Check it out, if you dare.